and happy Friday, December 9th, 2022, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kirk Cadet in the flesh as always, and he is...
This is none other than his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, your life of the party. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our brand new episode of the Clash of Champions. Follow us on our social media pages on Instagram at champs.clash and follow us on Twitter at the champs clash on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. We do have our social media platforms and follow us, man. Get the news and the updates from episodes, archives, and all the news that you need to hear, especially the news that we're about to bring you as of right now.
Yeah, so let's get into it. We had Survivor Series 2 weeks ago since the last time we talked to you guys in Boston. And finally, after 4 attempts, they finally had a good Survivor Series in that city.
Yeah, and how often and you know what, man, I had a funny feeling that it was going to live up to it, and it was going to be a good Survivor Series. But it's about damn time Boston has been greeted with a good Survivor Series.
Yes, and the show started with the women's War Games match, and it consisted of Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley against Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Mia Yim, and the returning Becky Lynch, which is what I predicted on our last episode. And yo, these women
Mm-hmm.
beat the hell out of each other. Holy shit.
Jesus, the spots that they did, Kurt. Damn. I've lost how many counts of a lot of brutal spots, but just fun, exciting spots that they did.
Yeah, but the only thing is, a few of them got kind of messed up. I noticed at least 2 or 3 spots that, like, I know did not go the way they were supposed to.
I see. Can you tell us which one in particular?
I think there was one like when Bailey first comes into the match, he tries to like do a sunset flip against the garbage can at the turnbuckle, and like it got messed up. And then there was another one where Alexa Bliss had Nikki Cross on top of her shoulders, and she was like and she was gonna push her back onto the trash can, but instead of Nikki Cross falling on the trash can, Alexa Bliss fell on the trash can.
Mm.
And there was one spot specifically where you could hear Bianca Belair telling Io Sky to kick her, like to kick her in the face as she's like trying to climb the top of it.
Wow.
But other than that, the match was still fun. It went about over
Yeah.
40 minutes. But one of the highlights of the match was Nikki Cross jumping off the top of the cage onto everybody. Io Sky's moonsault from the top of the cage.
That was my favorite.
It was a dope spot, but my favorite personally was the ending when Becky Lynch put Dakota and Io Sky onto one table, jumped off the top of the cage and leg dropped both of them through it to get the pin and the win for Team Bianca.
Nice.
Yeah, you could definitely tell by the time that match was over that those women, all 10 of them, had been in a fight.
Oh, you could tell. I mean, I'm just like I said, from the spots that they were doing in that match, they just, all 10 of them did their part, and they deserve a big praise, huge praise for what they did. This is a good way to start off the night.
I knew they were going to start off the night with the women's match, and definitely no better way to start it off, as all 10 of them brought their A game and gave us something to remember. All right, so moving on, we had Finn Balor against AJ Styles.
So for the first time, we had in our previous episode, we had talked about how finally these two are having a storyline. We have a story to build between these two because lately, last time these two wrestled, there really wasn't like a storyline. They just threw these two in a ring and they just have at it. Yes, they did had a good match, but this is different, and it was a decent match. I liked it. I thought. I'm sorry, it kind of looked like Finn Balor was going to get the win, though, but AJ got the victory. I love the counters in this match. They work perfectly well with each other, not like they haven't before. But I like this match. It was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was a fun match. About as good as I would expect it to be. I liked how they kicked out the OC and Judgment Day in the middle of it just to leave it 1-on-1. But ultimately, AJ won with the phenomenal forearm, and I have to say I was surprised he won. Not mad that he won, but I was surprised he won.
You wanted Finn Balor to win, right?
I just thought he would win because I figured like Judgment Day's been on a momentum swing lately, and I figured they would keep that going. But it
Yeah.
didn't happen in this case. But is what it is. Good match regardless.
Hmm.
All right, so moving on, and a match in all honesty that was not so good. We had Ronda Rousey defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shotzi.
Okay, so here's what I think, and this is pretty much what everybody on social media has been saying, and a lot of critics been saying. Okay, let's just be real, Kurt. Shotzi pretty much carried that match. There were some things that, well, I think the back body, no, the body drop that she did outside the ring onto the barricade, where the fans were. I thought that was nice. But yeah, Shotzi pretty much was just carrying that match. Even though, yeah, we knew that Ronda Rousey was going to win, it just shows that, like, kind of now the key takeaway from this match, Kurt, is that, okay, do you really think Ronda Rousey is really a good, a worker in the ring just as far as what she could do looking at this match?
I'm not gonna say she's bad, but I could just tell that something's been off with her ever since she came back, and like just in general, this whole run she's been on ever since she came back at Royal Rumble just hasn't been the same. I don't know what it is, but just something's not right. Maybe it's the caliber of people they have her working with, or like in the sense that like maybe the people she's working with aren't experienced this time around compared to last time. But yeah,
Mm,
just something's been. And all the time she's been back, the only match of hers that I liked is the one with Charlotte at Backlash. That's the only match of hers I was into.
it takes two to tango, and you're right. Something is off, but you gotta look. You gotta applaud Shotzi for doing what she could to do to pull the kind of like just stir the match and just like pretty much take hold of it. But at the same time, it takes two to tango, and she kind of like just did a lot. And there was a certain things I wasn't expecting, but again, I don't know, like something is off. Maybe she just Ronda Rousey got a lot of huge backlash from the match.
The whole match in general just got a lot of bad reviews, and a lot of people just plain didn't like it. Even Freddie Pridge Jr. even said himself, like he said what you
Yeah,
said, that it was Ronda's fault that the match turned out the way it did. I
yeah.
mean, I thought it would have been a little better than what it was, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of it, and I predicted Ronda was gonna win, and she won. But let's just hope whatever feud they put her in next, whether it's Raquel Rodriguez or whoever else, it turns out better than what this was.
Yeah, I mean, let's just hope that going to WrestleMania that she have a good performance because we all know she's going to keep the belt till then.
Let's just hope maybe when she starts feuding with Becky, that like that kind of gives her kind of a spark, and that kind of gives like adds a little more interest, and then we could definitely see something, I guess more of what we were expecting from Ronda.
We could look at this situation as a little bit of a bump of a road right now, and we only could hope that she could recover from this and do better. I mean, we don't want to wish bad on anybody. We're just calling it
No,
like
of
how we
course not.
see it. Yeah, we're pretty much just calling it like how we see it. She just didn't really do her part as much, and it's been like that for a while. So we're just hoping that future reference, she'll pick it up, she'll do better.
And I think even she said herself that she feels like she failed Shotzi in that match.
I mean, hey, and that's good that she's being honest and upfront about that, and not like be careless about it. You know what I mean? I'm glad to hear that. It shows that she cares about what she's doing.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to the next match, we had a triple threat for the United States Championship, which featured Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory.
Yeah, two things: the match and also the ending.
Yeah,
And
that and
yes, huh?
very well done.
Yeah, and I said on our Twitter, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. I'm kind of like, because I predicted and I picked Austin Theory to win, but at the same time, I just wow, like he won, but at the same time, good because he needed to win. Kurt, he needed to win this
Yeah,
match because they pretty much are doing a character change with him, which is as of right now is going pretty well. Okay, and in order to do that, you need to start off with something good. Have him win the U.S. title. What they did prior to that with him holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, it just wasn't just how the way they were doing things with him just wasn't going well. So you do a character change, put the U.S. belt on him. Now you're going along with how what you're supposed to do. Now you're now we got things rolling now. Now we're on the right track.
Yeah, the way the match ended was Seth Rollins had Theory up in a suplex position, but then as he was about to do it, Lashley spears Rollins, and then Theory falls on top of Rollins and gets the pin. I
Mm.
liked how they did that shit.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, so Theory's now the United States champion. I don't know, maybe second, maybe third best match of the night, but yo, the three of these guys killed it, and I definitely wasn't expecting any less.
Yeah. But I mean, what do you think about him being a champion now? Like, do you really think like, okay, they're on the right track now, and you're kind of like seeing things in a better perspective now moving forward?
It's a good look, but bro, he was already the U.S. champion like a few months ago, so it's not like anything new. But with the new change of
Yeah.
character, yes, it is a step in the right direction.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm just, dude. I'm just like he had they weren't like doing things well with him when he had the briefcase. I mean, come on, like, just literally like what a couple weeks prior, they literally had this dude try to cash in on Rollins
For the U.S.
on a mid
title.
card belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So with this character change and what they're doing now, you gotta look at another thing too. Though you have to do something. You have to like boost him up so the fans could take him more seriously. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Kurt, the past couple of months, especially during the summer, I really wasn't really taking him that seriously.
I mean, he was more of like a geek, and he was like more of like Vince's protege, so that's kind of a reason why. But and he was doing all the selfie shit.
I mean, it wasn't because of that. I mean, I like how they were doing the thing with Vince, how that all started. That was okay. But I think once they, because he was losing matches from time to time, he was unsuccessful in cashing in at certain times. That's where I was kind of like starting to lose my faith in him. Okay, maybe the selfies was like a little bit over the top, but I think the whole like Vince's protege, I was okay with that. I just think that how the way he was doing certain things, it kind of just like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you, but it's in the past now. He's now the United States champion again. It seems like he's on a different path, a better path, and we'll see where it
Yes,
goes
yes,
going into next year.
yes. I'm happy. That's what I'm saying. This is what I wanted to see. Again, I was surprised, but I was like, damn, in a good way.
Okay, so moving on to the main event, we had the men's War Games match, which consisted of the Bloodline, Solo Sequoia, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch.
Boy, let me tell you something, Kurt. Before we even talk about that match, I mean, what do you thought about that segment between Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns that they had backstage?
Well, to back it up a little bit, the night before on SmackDown, Jay Uso overheard Kevin Owens talking to Sami Zayn, telling him that the Bloodline doesn't give a shit about you. They're going to turn on you as soon as they get a chance to. And then when Jay Uso confronted Sami Zayn about it and asked him if Kevin Owens talked to him, Sami Zayn denied it. And then Jay Uso told that to Roman Reigns, who in turn had a conversation with Sami Zayn afterwards. And Sami Zayn pretty much told him the truth. And he said he didn't tell Jay Uso that same truth because he didn't want to distract him and get him like off balance and stuff. And then before the match starts, Jay Uso talks to Roman Reigns about it, and Roman Reigns simply says, I heard everything I needed to hear. And then we go to the match. They're teasing dissension between Jay Uso and Sami Zayn throughout it, and even one spot where Jay Uso super kicks Sami Zayn by mistake and then shrugs it off as if it's no big deal.
I liked the part where when it was time for one of the bloodline members to enter the match. Jimmy was going to enter, but Roman told him like, no, let Sammy go.
I figured he was gonna do that. I kind of had a feeling something like that was gonna happen. But yes, that
I liked it though. I like that whole sequence where Roman's just sitting down, just chilling, and everybody's standing up. I thought that was funny.
yeah, it was very well done. The storytelling in this entire match was excellent. If there's
Yeah,
one thing I will give this War Games match over the women's was the storytelling.
absolutely. Just before, during, and after. Huh. 3-part series to this whole match.
Yeah, so eventually everybody gets into the match. It gets all crazy. Everybody beats the hell out of each other. And then there's one point where Kevin Owens has the win over Roman, hits him with the stunner. But as he's about to pin him, Sami Zayn interrupts the count. And then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are getting into it, arguing. And then Jey Uso tries to attack Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens blocks it. As he's about to counter Jey Uso, Sami Zayn kicks him in the nuts.
See, it's a whole
Yeah, and
test.
to add insult to injury, he hits his former best friend with the haluva kick, and then paves the way for Jey Uso to hit the Uso splash onto Kevin from the top rope to give the win to the Bloodline, which I predicted.
Yeah. Sami Zayn Roman was pretty much trying to test him, see where his loyalties lie. And I think as a viewer, that's where we were seeing that night. That whole entire night, we were trying to unravel and see, like, okay, where does Sami Zayn loyalties lie? Does it lie with the bloodline like he said that he does? Or is he really going to side with Kevin Owens? And we saw the unraveling of what we were trying to figure out, and it was well done.
Yeah, Sami Zayn pretty much turned on his own best friend, which basically Kevin Owens have done to him
Yeah,
before, and
yeah.
showed that he's Bloodline ride or die. And one of the biggest pops of the night, Jey Uso embraced Sami Zayn, seeing how loyal he was to the team.
Yeah. Oh
You
man.
would have thought that,
See now they're giving a see now.
bro. You would have thought that was Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth at WrestleMania 7.
You know what it looked like? Nas and Jay Z ending their beef.
Oh, in 2005.
That's what it was like.
Oh, hell no.
Oh man, crazy. Now they have their own handshake now.
Yes, the Usi handshake.
Yeah.
The Bloodline won War Games, and it makes things a lot more interesting in the coming months to see where they go with the storyline. Because yeah, now that Sammy's like actually cool with Jey
Oh
Uso, they
yeah.
could do a lot with that,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with Roman, even though Roman's been out for a few weeks. So speaking of that, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre suffered ruptured eardrums during the War Games match, and they haven't been seen ever since.
Ruptured ear. How?
I'm not sure how. I think apparently Roman got hurt during a spot with Kevin Owens, which supposedly he was pissed off about backstage afterwards. He even like started.
That's what I okay. I heard about that. I never had a chance to read about that because there was like some rumor or report about how Roman was upset after the match. And I was kind of like wondering, what was he upset about? But now I know. But ruptured eardrum, that's a first. I never hear stuff like that.
Yeah, but they'll both be back soon. But yeah, Roman was just pissed briefly. I heard he just lashed out for a few minutes, but then after that, after he got it out of his system, everything was cool. Just a miscommunication, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it looks like at the Royal Rumble will be more than likely Roman Reigns against Kevin Owens for the third time at that event.
Wow. I mean, it's the right way to do it. I mean, after what happened at Survivor Series, it is the perfect solution to do that. You want to continue that. So
And there's potential that this match could be a Hell in a Cell match.
at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, because there's rumors going around that there's going to be a Hell in a
Wow.
Cell at the Royal Rumble, and the only match I could think of that would be warranted for that would be this one.
Yeah. Crazy. This will be the first time a Hell in a Cell match is at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's the only one of the big four pay-per-views that's never had one.
Wow.
But yeah, it makes sense because the last few times Roman and Kevin Owens wrestled each other, there was always some kind of outside interference and whatnot. So it would make sense to do it under these circumstances.
Yeah, and then they have a very good rivalry. So, and I like that. So it does make sense to do that.
Yeah, it would be dope, and they could still build off of the Sami Zayn stuff going forward. I was kind of like thinking that maybe Sami Zayn could be a possible winner of the Royal Rumble, but
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm still high on Cody right now.
yeah, I am too. Like I was thinking about that also. That the person who should beat
Yeah.
Roman eventually should be a person who beats him decisively, and who should be a person who's like a main guy going forward. And I see that
Yeah.
more in Cody than Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
As much as I love this Sami Zayn storyline, and as much as he's been killing it, I just don't. I would rather see Roman and Cody at WrestleMania as the main event.
Same.
But they could do Roman and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, which is going to be in Montreal.
Yeah, it has been announced, and yeah, I believe that. That's something I want to see. And honestly, what I was about to allude to earlier, I still feel like there's going to be a falling off in the storyline. I really feel like with the continuation that they're doing, something's going to happen. Okay, it reminds me of Triple H and Batista, how like they're not rushing a storyline. They're letting it just take its time and just let it develop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also another example being Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Just hope this is a better payoff.
yeah, and it will be. I believe it.
Yeah, this has been by far the best storyline in WWE pretty much the whole year, the most consistent, most compelling, and we only get more
Mm-hmm.
of it to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Sammy called himself like an Usiologist or something on
Oh my
TV last
god.
week.
Are you serious?
Yo, I have to say, this has probably been Sami Zayn's best year.
Oh, of course. There's no denying that.
From the match with Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania to the whole stuff with the Bloodline, yeah, it's been definitely a highlight year for him for sure.
He deserves it. I mean, this you got honestly. When you look back, we're gonna look back. This is gonna probably be his best year.
One of definitely his best year probably since
Yeah,
2015, 2016 ish.
yeah.
Yeah, props to him. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes and what happens come Royal Rumble time. And yes, damn, Royal Rumble's still 7 weeks away, and there's no pay-per-views until then.
Yep. Oh,
Shit.
I'm just surprised how fast this year has gone by. We're already in December.
Yeah, it is pretty nuts. This whole year was definitely different. I don't want
Yeah.
to say it was a bad year. Definitely wrestling wise, it wasn't a bad year. But yeah, definitely kind of came and went in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But one person who more than likely will be back in WWE by Royal Rumble time is William Regal.
Yes.
Yeah, as many of you know, William Regal helped MJF win the AEW championship at Full Gear several weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And about a week and last week on Dynamite, Regal and MJF had a segment, and basically MJF was celebrating as the new champion. And then he was giving a speech to Regal, and then he walked behind Regal with a pair of brass knucks in his hands. And as he's cutting the promo, he proceeds to knock Regal in the back of the head with them.
Yeah, and pretty much it was like a storyline just to write him off.
Yeah, he was like coughing up blood from it. They took him out on a stretcher. Bryan Danielson was there with him and everything. And yeah, you have been hearing those rumors for a few weeks. And pretty much when that happened, that confirmed everything.
Yeah, right after.
And it's come out over the last few days that Regal had like an out with his contract with AEW, and Tony Khan decided to grant it to him because Regal mainly wants to go back to WWE to train his son who's in NXT.
Oh, interesting.
They shot a promo this past Wednesday on Dynamite. That was pre-recorded from Shivani and William Regal a few weeks prior, where Regal basically talked about that the Blackpool Combat Club doesn't need him anymore, and that he's taught them everything he could teach them. And then the reason why he cost Jon Moxley the championship was that he wanted to teach him a final lesson, which was stay ahead of the game and always keep eyes in the back of your head.
Mm.
So that was basically like a way of, ending William Regal's time on AEW in a way that made sense. And the reason why apparently Tony Khan gave him an out was because Tony Khan's mother suffered multiple strokes over the last few months, and seeing the whole family scenario surrounding Regal and his son, I guess Tony Khan had a soft spot for that, and that's why he's letting Regal go back.
Oh
And
wow.
apparently Regal will be back in WWE by the beginning of January, but one of the conditions of his release is that he won't be allowed to be on WWE television.
As a character, yeah, I heard about that. I thought it was just a joke, but actually it's turned out to be true. So he would still be working with WWE, just behind the scenes work or whatever though, but he cannot be there as a character not till 2024. It's a damn shame, but it is what it is.
I mean, the thing was, I'm sure William Regal didn't want to leave WWE in the first place, and also Triple H, I'm sure, didn't want him to be released in the first place.
Oh, he was just a good damn help to NXT.
Yeah, he was, of course.
Yeah.
And nobody announced the War Games stipulation better than him. Triple H even tweeted that picture of it the day of War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
he had that classic voice. Just like Vince had that classic voice for Hell in a Cell, William Regal had that classic voice for War Games.
Mm.
Yeah, but like now that Vince is out of the picture and Triple H is in the picture, I'm sure he wants him back close by him because William Regal was one of Triple H's mentors, like when he first came to WCW, and he's always wanted to look out for him and do what right by him whenever he could.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Regal had a good run in the year he was in AEW. I'm sure a lot of people gained a lot from him, but I'm sure WWE is the better place for him, especially considering that his son's there.
Yeah.
Yes, but he will definitely be missed in AEW, definitely.
Mm.
And also, one other person from AEW who will be missed by next year is one Dustin Rhodes, who announced last week that the year 2023 will be his last year as a professional wrestler.
How old is he?
In his 50s, he's got to be in his 50s, definitely 50s.
Yeah. Hey, it's a humble thing to do, to walk away, and it comes at a certain time where you got to walk away, and just to make that decision. What's best for him, and you got to move on, and you just hope for the best, whatever future that he has planned for himself.
Yeah, but great career this dude had. He's been wrestling since 1988, I believe.
Damn, that's what the year my parents got married.
Nice. Nice. I remember he was in WWE briefly, like in 1990, when he was teaming with his dad against DiBiase and Virgil, and then he was in WCW for a few years, built his reputation up, became a stud there, and then when he came to WWE, he did the whole
Mhm.
Goldust character, which people thought, I guess, initially was a way to
Yeah,
fuck with him, but to his credit, he pulled that shit off.
yeah, wow.
One of the most iconic characters in wrestling history.
You know what? I don't know if you ever heard this story. So I remember hearing this story, and when remember when Razor Ramon was working with Goldust, the whole angle storyline they were doing, I think he didn't really like working with Dustin because of the whole Goldust gimmick, and
And their sexual undertones. Yeah, he didn't like that at all. I've heard that story more than once.
yeah,
And
yeah,
also, he wanted to work with Triple H, and they wanted him to work with Goldust instead. So I think that might have also made him not like it either.
gotcha. Hmm.
Yeah, so he had the Goldust run, and then he had a second spark with the Goldust run in the early 2000s with a team with Booker T, which is a lot of great stuff.
I love that tag team. That was the most. I'm telling you right now, Book. You know what? I'm sorry, we're gonna like move track though, but I mean, just Booker T as a tag team during that era, he was a really good tag team partner. He worked well as a tag team, whether if it was with Goldust or with RVD. That tag team between Booker T and Goldust was so underrated, Kurt.
Yeah, so fun, so entertaining. They didn't get a long enough run with the tag titles either.
No,
They got like a month. Well, I
no,
was at the arena the night they won the titles. I was at that Armageddon show.
right, okay. Oh
Good
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a
2000.
good moment.
Wow, it's about to be 20 years soon.
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
Yeah, I've been a lot of podcasts have been popping up about that late 2002 period from like JR and
Yeah.
whatnot. It's interesting about the backstage stories about that late 2002 period, and pretty obvious how much better SmackDown was than Raw during that period too.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah, Raw fell off hard after SummerSlam that year,
Mm.
and also with the Katie Vick bullshit.
Oh, I don't get into
Yeah,
that.
but in any event, yeah. So and then he was kind of in and out of WWE for a couple years, but then he had a really good run in 2013 when he started teaming with his brother, especially the matches they had with the Shield.
That
Yo,
was
the way he was moving around during that period was fire, bro. It was like a different. He was like 20 years younger. It looked like he was 20 years younger.
Yep. I love that. That was yeah. I mean, that was probably one of the best moments from that year from 2013. That was wow.
Yeah, when they won that match at Battleground, when they got their jobs back, and then when they won the tag titles from them, yeah, there was a lot of good stuff.
Hmm.
And even in AEW, that one match he had with Cody at Double or Nothing, the first Double or Nothing, it was amazing. It was voted the match of the year actually by PWI.
Mm.
It's just a shame they didn't get to have that kind of match at WrestleMania because I felt like they were gonna do it like at WrestleMania 31, but then they ended up going away from it. But at least they got to have it on that night, and it meant a lot.
Wow.
Just a shame their dad couldn't be there for it.
Oh man.
Yeah, but great dude's had a great career. He's a trainer backstage. He trains a lot of the women, from what I understand, and it's gonna be nice to see him go out with a bang. It's gonna be definitely a career worth celebrating, and
Oh, absolutely.
I'm glad that he's going out on his own terms, and he had the lengthy run that he did.
Hmm.
Let's send our best wishes actually out to Barry Windham, who had a heart attack last week and who was recently in the ICU. But as of today, he is out of the ICU and is in stable condition.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's horrible, man.
Man, it's not really. No, it's not, man.
Yeah, just sad with a lot of these wrestlers, especially when they get older with age. They're very vulnerable to a lot of things like this.
Gotta learn. I don't know what caused them, but just your health becomes a bigger responsibility as you get older.
Yes, it does. Very true.
So
Yeah, so best wishes to him. Hope he pulls through, makes a full recovery, and hope he gets back on his feet sooner than later.
yeah,
And congratulations to the Usos, who were ranked number one tag team of the year by PWI.
really, who came in second? I'm just curious. I'm kind of feeling who it was.
I'm actually not 100% sure, but I do know that FTR was not happy about this decision.
Oh, damn.
I mean, they had a strong case for the award too, but I mean, the Usos, I'm not mad at for being picked number one. They had a great year. They've been tag champions the whole year. They've had good matches. Although FDR has
Yeah,
definitely been in the mix also. I don't mind the Usos getting it. It's all good.
yeah, yeah.
But damn, FDR is like all golded out. They have like three different sets of tag titles.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
And tomorrow night at the Ring of Honor pay per view, they're actually wrestling the Briscoe brothers in a tag team dog collar match.
Wow, that sounds like very
Should
80ish.
be interesting.
That's it is. It sounds like a very 80ish tag team stipulation. I like that.
Well, they had the dog collar match actually 2 years ago between. Actually, no, even this year. AEW's had two dog collar matches since they've been around. They had the one between Cody and Brody Lee, which unfortunately turned out to be the last time we would see him. And then they had the one earlier this year between MJF and Punk,
Mm. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
which is one of my match of the year candidates. By the way.
Gotcha. That was a damn good match. Oh,
Yeah, so Usos number one tag team of the year, and I think I know who's gonna be the team to take the belts from them.
cool.
Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Fingers crossed.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, because eventually the Usos and Roman and everyone are all gonna turn on Sammy. It's only a matter of time, and I know who's gonna be there to save him in the end. And no better way to cap that off than have him win the tag titles.
Oh damn. Do you still plan on going to WrestleMania?
We'll see, bro. We'll see.
Okay.
But one person who won't be at WrestleMania is one John Laurinaitis. And Jim Ross was talking about him in the
Oh,
most recent episode of his podcast, and he was mentioning how Laurinaitis deserves the perceived misery he's probably living in right now.
I mean, can you blame me for saying that? I mean, come on.
It's mainly a personal thing with JR because JR was talking about the fact that like Laurinaitis didn't treat him well and how he always had an agenda when it came to talent, and he would always go like out of his way to prove that he was better at the talent relations job than Jim Ross was.
Mm,
And yeah, just in general, he just didn't have a good relationship with him, and he didn't feel like he could trust him. And that's not the first time I've heard that about Laurinaitis before. Even with the whole like allegations shit that came out earlier this year aside, I've just in general I've heard bad things about him for years. Punk illuminated on that during the pipe bomb shit during
yeah,
that time.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure what kind of misery he's living in, but I mean, obviously, maybe besides his wife, maybe wanting to leave him over that shit. But I heard he got a nice severance package from the whole release and whatnot, so I'm sure he's not living that miserable.
Really?
Perhaps.
Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, just from the things I've heard about him, I don't get a good vibe from him either. So I could get why Jim Ross would say those things about him. That's fair.
no, no. Not surprising. Especially after, due to the circumstances that happened, um, several months ago, a few months
Yeah, but
ago.
just in
Yeah.
general, like Jim Ross was like the head of talent relations for years, and then John Laurinaitis was the person who replaced him from that position, and then Laurinaitis he just felt like couldn't be trusted, and a lot of talent apparently felt that way too.
Hmm.
And then all that shit I was hearing last year, with like when Athena Page was talking about how like he would hold meetings telling them how they have to dress sexy and dress like Manny Rose and look like Manny Rose. So yeah, like shit like that. among other things, just doesn't give me a good vibe about the dude.
Yeah. Hmm.
And Athena Page was actually opening up recently about like the criticism she's been getting for like being stiff in the ring and being hard hitting in the ring.
Really?
Yeah, and her response to this was basically like if she were a guy, if she were a man, that she would not be getting any kind of criticism or any kind of like backlash for the way she wrestles in that sense.
Mm,
Because you see Gunther in the way he wrestles, and Brock Lesnar being another extreme example, and also Sheamus. You never hear those guys get criticized for that.
that they hit stiff?
Yeah, that they hit stiff and that they're extra tough, they're extra, I guess rough and rugged. I guess is the best way to put it.
How the way they hit. Hmm.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, she was basically just talking about how, like, yeah, because she's a girl, they're criticizing her for it, but if she were a guy, it wouldn't be a big deal.
how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm sure she has a point. I haven't really seen that much of her work in recent weeks because she hasn't been on Dynamite, but she does have a point. There are certain kind of double standards that exist like this, and
Yeah, true,
if
true,
you wouldn't criticize those dudes for wrestling that way, you shouldn't criticize her for that either.
true.
Unless she's like really legit, like trying to hurt the person for real and trying to injure the person for real.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying though, because like you're comparing guys like Lesnar and Gunther and Sheamus, like those are like big guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just alluded to earlier, like if you really are doing that intentionally on purpose, then hell no. I mean, that's not good. You don't want to do that. But I don't know. Just regardless, when you're in the ring, you just got to be careful. And that there's been times where people accidentally do stuff like that
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
in the spur of the moment.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, but there's just certain guys who are just like that rough and tough. I mean, remember the Road Warriors?
Oh yeah.
When people back in the day would see what they would have to wrestle them on a show, they would be scared to death.
Especially I felt bad for when they had to do the Doomsday device. Jesus.
Oh fuck.
I mean, just how like whenever I see that move back then, it's just like, damn. I'll never forget when Henry Godwin, what happened to him. Like he broke the dude got his had a neck injury because it was just like Jesus, dude. Like
Hell, in the first War Games match in '87, they kind of did like a modified version of it to J.J. Dillon. They could barely get him up, and even the way they did it, they separated his shoulder.
yeah,
Fuck. Yeah, that was like one of the scariest moves to take.
sheesh. I don't know. I just don't understand how like they could have been more careful about it or just modified it a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
It was a fun move to watch. Don't get me wrong. I used to love when they did that move when I was a kid, but when you watch it now as an adult, you're like, damn, I
It's
would
just
hate
when
to be
you,
the person in that.
it's just the impact. It's just the impact when you fall down, when you get clothesline from the top like that, and how the way you fall. I'm just saying it could have been modified differently.
Maybe. I also heard that Paul Roma, because I remember Paul Roma took it at WrestleMania 7, and then when they wrestled each other a few months later, he asked like if you could beat me with the power slam instead because he wasn't trying to do that shit again.
Do you blame him? I mean, come
Not at all.
on. Wow. Oh my god.
Imagine if they try to do that shit at SummerSlam '92 with the condition that Hawk was in.
Oh my god. Oh please. Oh. Oof.
Shit, that would not have been pretty.
Nope.
What also probably won't be pretty is the stories that come out and the upcoming Vince documentary that's going to be dropping on Vice this Tuesday night at 10 o'clock.
Oh wow.
Yes, this is going to be some interesting stuff that's going to be coming out on this. Because in all the other Dark Side of the Ring episodes, WWE and Vince McMahon pretty much do not come off well in the majority of them. And if those are any indication of what we're going to see in this one, holy shit.
Oh man. You think it would have been just best if they just not done the documentary?
I wouldn't say that because I want to watch this shit.
Vice never does anything to represent somebody in the documentary, Kurt.
What do you mean?
just I mean, just from the pet, like we do, like the Dark Side of the Ring documentaries, and just like they just don't. Just a lot of stuff has been coming out of the closet in the dark on certain wrestlers on every episode that Vice would do documentaries on. So,
That's just their
oh
style.
boy,
That's just their style. That's the shit that they cover.
I know. Just- and I thought the whole thing was over when they stopped doing the Dark Side of the Ring episodes when they didn't do another season. So, but now
They have this new series called Tales from the Territories, which I've heard is pretty interesting. I haven't watched any of it yet, but I've heard good things about it.
that was interesting. The different territories of wrestling, huh?
Yeah, like the Mid South and World Class,
Oh,
etc.
nice. I would have wondered what I would have been like growing up during that time. I mean, as a fan, you have these different wrestling territories that come on television. You got this, you know what I mean? I wonder what it was that would have been like growing up.
Yeah, I would have been. Yeah, all I would have probably had down here was Georgia Championship Wrestling or Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what I would have been like to watch that episode of WCW Saturday Night where Vince McMahon was on it, where they put WWF's programming into the WCW's like 6 p.m. time slot on TBS. I could imagine what the fuck it would have been like to be a fan seeing that shit.
I don't know what territory was for the West Coast though. That because there's all you always had your Mid South, Midwest, and you had your East Coast, your Northeast territories, but you didn't really hear like a lot of territories on the West Coast.
I think there was one in Portland. I think there was like a Portland territory that maybe that Piper was in.
Hmm.
Also, I think San Francisco might have had one.
Oh yeah, well, you got that's where you got to see the pretty much the Hanoi family come. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
All Simone's. Yeah, you're right. A lot of the shows will be at the famous Cow Palace in San Francisco.
Yes, so the place where Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship.
Hmm.
Yes, but back to this Vince documentary real fast. So yeah, it drops on Tuesday, and yeah, I can imagine the stories that are gonna come out about this.
Oh my god. Oh
If
my
Ric
god.
Flair, if Ric Flair got the backlash he did from the one about the plane ride from hell, I can imagine what this is gonna be like.
Duh, please don't get me started. This is not going to end well.
I wonder if they're gonna. I wonder if they interview that referee from the '80s that I told you that story about that Vince supposedly raped in the back of the limo.
Oh yeah, it's funny you brought about referee though, because we condolences to Mills Lane. That's another famous referee who recently passed away.
Yes, Mills Lane passed away on Tuesday, and also Kirstie Alley passed away on Monday. Damn.
That was shocker, dude. She was only 71. Yeah, 71, yeah.
Yeah, she was only 71. Apparently, she had colon cancer.
Man.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, it's too bad, man. I mean, I remember I had a big crush on her back in the day. I used to be in love with Kirstie Alley. Holy shit. Like when she was on Cheers, when she was in the Look Who's Talking movies. Yeah, she was mad beautiful.
Yeah.
I know she had her weight problems in recent years. I know she was struggling with that a lot. It was kind of up and down, and she was getting a lot of flack in recent years from being a Trump supporter. But I'll never be happy to see somebody pass away, especially under those circumstances.
Gotcha. Hi.
Unless they're like a very evil person, like a Hitler or something along those lines. I'll never be happy to see anybody die.
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. She was a good actress too.
Mm-hmm.
Back to that Vince thing real fast. Yeah, it's such a crazy year. You would have never thought when this year first started that this whole scandal would come out and would ultimately lead to Vince stepping down and him not being the head of the company anymore. And now even more shit's about to come out with this thing.
Right.
Yeah, crazy
Ugh.
world we live in, man. What a difference 12 months makes.
Mm-hmm. A lot could happen in a year.
I mean, like I said before, Vince had a lot of great ideas. I'm grateful for him for the fact that I became a wrestling fan in the first place, and those great ideas shouldn't you can never take away from him. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really miss him.
I just look back at the memories as he did as an entertainer.
Yeah, I try to do that too, but it's hard to forget like a lot of the whack shit we saw on TV over the last 10 years, and how a lot of it was his fault, and you can't give him a pass for it.
Mm.
But just in general, yeah. But overall, I would say the good memories outweigh the bad ones.
Depending on how much. Depends on really.
That's definitely gonna be something to watch this Tuesday on Vice, and yes, that'll definitely be a priority for me on that night.
Wow.
And Sasha Banks has recently filed trademark for her real name for entertainment services and for live audio performances. And she also recently wrapped up her first film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did. And it
Well,
was funny. She didn't show up at Survivor Series. A lot of people were expecting her to show up
yeah,
possibly
because
after
it
the
was in
Ronda
Boston.
match.
Yeah.
And she was at the Celtics game a few nights later, the front
Yeah, I
row.
saw that. I saw that.
Damn.
What?
Nah, I was kind of hoping she would maybe be at Survivor Series, but then she wasn't there at the Survivor Series in Boston. But then she was at the Celtics game a few nights later.
You think eventually she'll turn out? She'll show. She'll be back in WWE.
I don't know about that, but from what I understand, it came out yesterday that she's gonna be making an appearance at the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom show in January.
Hmm. Wait, in Japan, yeah?
Yeah, the New Japan show.
Wow.
I don't think she'll be wrestling per se, but they're saying she's gonna be there.
Okay.
It's all just it's a story that just came out yesterday. I won't believe it for sure until I see it, but it would not surprise me. She has a lot of ties to
Hmm.
Japan.
Oh, okay. Okay. Makes
And it's
sense.
and it's possible she might have that Daniel Bryan itch where she wants to go wrestle in other places and wrestle with different people.
Hmm.
Yeah. My brother and my nephew actually went to the Hawks game on Monday night and sat courtside, and guess who they saw at the game?
Ooh.
Jade Cargill and Naomi.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you didn't see the pictures that came out from that?
Oh. From
Yeah,
who? From Jake from Cargill?
yeah, they came out. They were all online on Tuesday. Yeah, Jade Cargill and Naomi were hanging out at the game. My brother,
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I just didn't know where they were. I just saw them they were out at some event. But I didn't know if it was at a basketball game. I wasn't even paying attention to that.
yeah, I was at a Hawks game. My brother told me he went to the game and had courtside seats, and a few minutes later, he told me he saw Jade Cargill and Naomi there together. They were sitting right across from him.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know if it was really Naomi at first. I'm like, "Are you sure it's Naomi?" And then I saw the pictures. I'm like, "Oh shit, it really is her."
Yeah.
Maybe Naomi is AEW bound.
Hmm. You'd be surprised. would you be? Would you be surprised, Kurt?
I don't know. It could happen. I know they're like moving along this Bow Wow and Jade Cargill storyline,
Oh God.
and maybe Bow Wow might have a wrestler from the female side wrestle on his behalf, and maybe that might be Naomi or possibly Sasha.
Hmm. I don't know. I want to see Sasha back on WWE because you got to remember we have new people in charge. Things are different. So I kind of if she does go to AEW, I'm like okay, but it's like I kind of want you to go back to WWE.
Hey, look, I'd like to see it too, but ultimately that's up to her. That's all up to her.
I know. Like I said, it's up to her, but it just kind of sucks how the way things ended. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I'm trying to look at.
Yeah, it was a shitty way for things to end. It's kind of obviously equivalent to when Austin walked out in '02, and like yeah, if Austin's
Yeah,
career ended that way, that would have been horrible
right.
in WWE. Yeah, I would hope to see
Uh,
her back there eventually soon, sooner or later. And even Charlotte said herself when she was on the Broken Skull sessions with Austin that she couldn't imagine not ever wrestling her again.
really?
Yeah, she said that.
Hmm.
And even her and Bianca, I feel like still has some juice, a lot of juice left.
Hmm. I believe that.
Yeah, but if she was to come back, I think her and Bailey at WrestleMania would be a good look.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be for a title. They could just have a regular match. They could build a nice story going into it, and yeah, they could have a match at Mania. Be great.
Okay. Okay.
I think Sasha's supposed to appear on like Bailey's like I think like charity website or something next week or something along those lines.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was hearing that like the reason why talks between Sasha and WWE have stalled recently was because of money issues.
I see. Contract is yeah. Hmm.
Maybe. But yeah, I hope she does return because To be honest, like if she goes to AEW, she's gonna get lost in the shuffle. The way it's looking now.
Because they had too many people there, Kurt. The whole roster is just like it's like trying to get on the bus and there's no seat available.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is.
It's fun. Just made that reference. Oh, it's funny. And and let's be real, you get on the bus, Kurt. When you really think about it, who's going to give up their seat?
A nice Samaritan.
Yeah, unless if you're pregnant, then yeah. Well, if you're a woman and you're pregnant, yeah, they'll give up their seat.
They could be like on some Forrest Gump shit. Seats taken. Seats taken. Can't sit here. Oh shit! All right, but anyway, and props to Bianca Belair. It came out last week. She posted a bunch of pictures that she was a part of this WBFF bodybuilding competition, and
The same one that Lex Luger was in a long time ago.
yeah, she placed first place in wellness, second place in fitness, and
Nice.
she got a pro
Mm.
card from it.
Nice. I saw this picture. I was like, where is she at? I was like, oh, I was like, okay. I'm telling you right now, as much how beautiful that she is, I just applaud her how fit that she is.
Yeah, her physique is ridiculous. And she was talking about the fact that it was just so, demanding training for that for the last 10 weeks or so, and then doing the full-time schedule with WWE and like doing all these and traveling and even internationally with them and doing all these crazy matches like the War Games match, the ladder match, and the last woman standing match, and then even doing her own gear within all this too. Her schedule is freaking ridiculous, bro.
I'm, eh, Kurt, just being a professional wrestler is not for everybody. Just the
Hell
full
no.
time schedule you're doing, being on the road pretty much 24/7, and then yes, you have to do all these outside stuff outside the ring where you have to make these events and appearances. It's a lot, man.
Yeah, definitely. And you barely get any downtime. You barely get any time with your family or even at home sleeping in your own bed. Yeah, but
Yeah,
especially with Bianca, like with doing all of that, and she makes her own gear and then training for that competition on top of that. Holy shit!
and the fact that she was able to get first place in one, and then the second in the other. That's oof.
I'll say she better rank number one for PWI for Women of the Year, for Women's Wrestler of the Year, hands down.
Oh, she will. She will, Kurt. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think she did
Don't worry.
last year, and honestly, she had an even better year this year than she did last year. I thought
Yeah.
way better year.
Mhm.
Yeah, but props to her. Yeah, she looked amazing in all those pictures we saw.
She did.
Yeah, and also she's gonna be starting a reality show with her husband Montez Ford up for Hulu. It's gonna be coming out soon.
I heard about that.
We didn't talk about it on the last episode. I meant to, but yeah, it's gonna. They were on the Today Show a few weeks ago, and they were talking about it. Yeah, they're gonna be doing a reality show.
Oh, that too. So that
Yeah,
too. I really love when I see wrestlers on a Today Show.
yeah, it's a good look.
Yeah, very good look.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be seeing more of Bianca in the months to come. And this Monday on Raw, we're gonna find out who the next number one contender for her championship will be, as it's gonna be Alexa Bliss against Bailey.
Hmm. Interesting.
I think Alexa Bliss is gonna win because they've done the Bailey match 1,000 times, and Bianca's already beaten her.
True. They need something new. That's yeah, yeah.
And I think they're trying to switch up
Mm,
Alexa Bliss a little bit.
really?
Yeah, I could tell after Survivor Series they were doing the promo with the Bianca's team with War Games, and Alexa briefly, I think, showed signs of the old Bray Wyatt character she was doing a few years ago, or a quick snippet of it. And I've been feeling in general, even she's even admitted herself, like her character's been kind of off the last few months. It kind of feels like just her as a character just hasn't been standing out.
Speaking of Bray Wyatt, we've just been seeing him doing promos for the longest time. Are they? I know they're taking their time, but it's like when are we gonna get into the thick of things?
I think his first match will probably be at Royal Rumble, give or take.
Okay.
He's been feuding with LA Knight the last few weeks. They've been going back and forth on promos.
I saw that and he got slapped, and I was like, "What in the hell is going on here?"
And then LA Knight gets attacked mysteriously by someone.
Yeah, I like LA Knight. I always like that dude.
Yeah, the feud's been entertaining so far, and that's not a bad first match for Bray Wyatt. I'm down for it.
No, no. Hmm.
Yeah, crazy. He's been back for 2 months now and still hasn't had a match yet.
That's what I'm saying. I was what are you doing? But if we could wait till Royal Rumble, I'm perfectly fine with that.
In other news, it was announced today in 3 weeks on SmackDown on December 30th, John Cena will be on the show.
Yes, I'm so happy to see him, man. This goes to show you that one of those we had this discussion before, like a year ago. He's just one of those people where, like, damn it, I'm not saying that we didn't appreciate him. We did, though. We really didn't appreciate him as much as we should. You know what I mean? And it goes to show you that you got to appreciate things when they're there, because when it's gone, it's gone.
Absolutely. And I honestly think that he's going to be on the show to announce he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match.
Really?
Wouldn't surprise me. Royal Rumble's not too far away.
Right? Hmm.
Hey, I'm down for it. And I could see him definitely feuding with Theory going into Mania too. I could definitely see them going in that direction.
Well, finally, I mean, they could. That's something I thought they were going to do for SummerSlam that I hoped for, but they didn't go to that direction.
Yeah, I guess because of his movie schedule. And I also was hearing stories that he didn't want to be on SummerSlam because of the whole Vince scandal at the time and whatnot. But now that Vince
Yeah,
isn't in the picture anymore,
I feel it.
yeah, but it'll be fun to see him. I'm looking forward to that show.
Hmm.
Gonna be in Tampa.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
gonna be in
okay.
Tampa.
Yeah, he lives there.
I'm not sure where he lives actually. I'm not sure exactly where he lives. I know a lot of wrestlers do live in Tampa, like Jericho lives in Tampa, Big
Yeah.
Show, Hogan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, in all the years I lived in Florida, I only went to Tampa twice.
Do you like it there? It's a nice place.
It's cool. I only wanted to go to a theme park. This theme park known as Busch Gardens.
Oh, I like Busch Gardens. It's nice.
Yeah, the place was wild.
Yeah.
Definitely, kind of like a Six Flags. Like other places have Six Flags, like San Diego and New Jersey and Texas.
It's
But
pretty much I like for that one. It's pretty much like a Six Flags combination with a zoo.
yeah, basically, oh yeah, we have Six Flags out here in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Haven't been there since '92.
damn, fair about that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Cena on that New Year's weekend edition of SmackDown. It should be definitely be something to watch. I actually watched a recent movie with Cena on Peacock called The Independent, where he's actually running for president.
Really,
Yeah, where he's like running as like an independent candidate.
Xena?
Yeah, Cena, because you know how like people are kind of getting sick of the whole two-party system and they feel like they can't be trusted and they need more than just two options. They need like a third option, like a third-party candidate and whatnot that's actually credible and who has a chance.
Yeah.
So basically, Cena plays the person who's like the third party candidate who runs for president, who like people are like actually getting behind, or like, and like you see Cena like in the speeches he gives in the movie, and I say to myself, so that's why Cena was a babyface in WWE all these years. That's why he was doing that shit all that time.
So is this like I'm assuming it's a comedy?
Nah, it's a serious movie. It's a political movie.
Oh,
He's not the main character, but he's like one of the main characters, like the third, fourth main character.
okay,
It's interesting. You should watch it. It's a solid movie.
okay. Speaking of Peacock, I got to get back on Young Rock. So
Oh, and speaking of The Rock, Joe Rogan recently called out The Rock for basically lying about the fact that he takes steroids.
I don't know where that is coming from. That's weird. And
Yeah, because apparently I guess The Rock, according to Joe Rogan, The Rock always makes it out to seem that like he got his body like clean, the clean natural way and whatnot. And I mean, looking The Rock looking the way he does now at his age, and considering the fact that he's even bigger now than he was in his wrestling days, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if he was taking something to look that way. But whether he's taking something or he's not taking something, that's none of my damn business, and that's nobody else's damn business either except his own.
so I'm saying he needs to worry about whether or not those UFC guys take steroids. But
I mean, whatever, it was just something to talk about. But I mean, I've always maintained that stance. Like, even
still,
if he is taking something, it's his freaking body.
still, I just thought it was just weird.
Joe Rogan talks about a lot of shit. Joe Rogan talks about like pretty much every subject there is on the planet. He talks about veganism, talks about racism, talks about comedy, talks about woke culture, cancel culture, politics, UFC. Yeah, there's nothing that's off limits on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never listened to a full episode, but I've listened like bits and pieces of it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they were trying to get him removed off Spotify earlier this year because of the things he was saying about COVID.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and there was like a compilation video coming out of like different times when he like used the N word, used the term monkeys to describe black people or something.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that kind of felt weird because like after all these years he's been around, like you guys are just now coming out with this shit about him.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like black friends and black comedians and guests on his show all the time. And they've never called him out about it. They never just shitted on him about it or anything. And I kind of felt weird that like it came out around that time with after like the whole COVID controversy and whatnot of the things he was saying about COVID. And honestly, that's a stupid reason to remove somebody from a platform because of that. Really, I mean, I'm referring to the COVID comments, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I was dead set against that because like I'm not saying I'm a fan of Joe Rogan or not, but I'm like, bro, you're gonna remove him off of that for that, or demand he be removed over that. Get over yourself.
Right.
I mean, look at Kane and Bryan Danielson. Kane even was even opening up recently that him and Bryan Danielson are like on the opposite side as opposed to like the political views and like the things they feel about those set political views, but they still respect each other and they still respect each other's opinions and don't shit on each other for it, and they're still friends.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess that's the climate we live in now. Is that like if you think differently as far as like a lot of these political things that come out and a lot of these views that people have, if somebody has a different opinion about it than you, then they're the bad guy, they're the enemy, and you can't be friends with them. Right. And I got tired of that shit, especially with the 2020 election stuff. I got fed up with it, and I'm like, yo, I'm not doing this anymore. This is fucking bullshit. Care to chime in?
I mean, you heard me talk about that before. Like, I'm not really big on politics, and it's something that I don't like. I don't want to cause that separation with people when it comes to politics. Like, if you have your views about certain things, share it. But I'm not going to let that cause like a quarrel between, me or who I'm talking to. It is just a bit outlandish to make that, to like use as to judge people because of like whatever your views are. I think is outlandish to me.
Yeah, granted, there are certain issues that are deal breakers. I will admit that, like certain racial stuff definitely crosses the line. A lot of like LGBTQ shit crosses the line, and also some of the abortion stuff. But if like just somebody says they voted for Trump, I'm not gonna just stop being friends with them and like wish for them to die over it.
Right.
Childish.
It is.
Yeah, I just got tired of it after a while because as much as I didn't like Trump and like some of the people who supported him rubbed me the wrong way, and in 2020, the people who were obsessed with hating Trump started to turn me off just as much because like it just got so annoying and so repetitive. And I'm like, bro, how long you gonna talk about this dude? How long you gonna obsess about this dude?
Right.
I don't like him either, but there's just only so much time and energy I can give to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and that's why I said like, yo, I'm not washing my hands with this bullshit anymore. There's certain posts I see online and certain political views I see online that admittedly do rub me the wrong way and make me shake my head, but I'm not gonna like leave a comment trying to argue with them and trying to tell them that they're wrong or whatever. I just move along and keep it moving. I can't. At the end of the day, you cannot control how other people think. The only thing you control is the way you think.
Right. Well said and done on that one.
Yes, and props to Kevin Nash as he was able to get 100,000 subscribers to his podcast, as it was something that his son really wanted because his son wanted to get a plaque from YouTube because of that.
Oh,
yeah, Kevin Nash put out a tweet last week saying how he wanted to get those amount of subscribers to get the plaque and tribute for his son, and it happened within that same day, and I'm glad that it did.
Nice. Within the same day. Damn.
I mean, it already had a lot of subscribers to begin with, but it got to 100,000 like that same day.
Still, though, his son. It's something that his son wanted to do, Kurt, and he did it for him in honor of his memory. Damn.
Yeah, he said it made him cry. He said it brought tears to his eyes.
Of, oh, of course, of course. That brings a big smile to my face just hearing that. Wow.
Before we go, I just wanted to send a happy birthday to Kurt Angle, who was 54 years old today, and he's going to be on SmackDown tonight.
Yes, already saw some clips already of it though.
Saw some pictures online too. It should be interesting. I'm gonna watch it in a few minutes.
Yeah, a lot of birthday gifts and surprising from a son of his.
Yes, a son who was introduced to him for the first time 5 years ago, which is a storyline I'd like to forget. But
Yep.
happy birthday to Kurt Angle, and many more to come. It's true. It's true.
It's damn true.
I heard him say he wouldn't wrestle again unless he was paid $10 million.
Really? Maybe you should wrestle
Yeah,
in
by either
Saudi Arabia then.
maybe.
Crown Jewel.
Yeah, it's just too bad that his career ended the way it did. Like his last couple months in WWE, where they pretty much had him losing all the time, and then they had him lose to Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. I mean, I get why they had him lose to Corbin because they wanted to build Corbin up, but just man, if only they could have done him and Cena one more time,
That's what I was hoping for.
or him and Undertaker.
Hmm. I don't know about Undertaker though, but I think Zena would have been better.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect fitting because Cena had his first match in WWE against Angle, and then Angle had
Yeah.
his last
Yeah.
match against Cena. But shit happens.
Yeah. And let's not forget Cena inducted Kurt Angle into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he did. That is very true. He did induct him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so
I think not having Kurt Angle as Cena's running mate in that movie, The Independent, was a missed opportunity.
oh, imagine how that would have been.
Oh my
Funny.
god! I can imagine Kurt Angle as like a presidential candidate or something along those lines, like this, and giving like the speeches he would
No,
give.
no, no, no. You know who else should have been in that show?
Oh,
JBL.
yeah, JBL could be the opponent. Yeah, the political opponent.
Oh my god, I'll definitely watch that show.
Talking about Mexicans and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, so I think we said what we needed to say for tonight. So for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of A Clash of Le Champions, and we will see you guys next time.